In the early 1900s, Europe was a pressure cooker. Empires were watching one another, armies were modernizing, alliances were quietly tightening, and the spark that would start World War I was only a few years away. But hidden behind all of this, behind the uniforms, medal, and polished boots, was a cafe table, a cup of coffee, and a secret so dangerous it could have changed the fate of Europe. This is the story of Alfred Redl, a brilliant officer, a man who rose to the top of the Austro-Hungarian intelligence service, only to become its greatest traitor. A story of invincible trap, anonymous letters, hidden payments, and the moment a military empire discovered that its most trusted man was its biggest enemy. This is the deadly coffee plot. Alfred Redl was born in 1864 in Lemberg, modern-day Lviv, Ukraine. He wasn't born from a rich family. He wasn't born noble, but he had something the Austro-Hungarian Empire desperately valued. He understood people. He could read faces, habits, motives. He had a strange ability to see what others were hiding. And by the 1890s, this talent got him noticed. He was recruited into the Evidence Bureau, the empire's secret intelligence office. There, Redl quickly became known as one of the most brilliant officers in the service. He modernized spy networks, created new systems to track Russian movements, and even trained officers in the counterintelligence. To his superiors, he was the perfect officer. To the Russians, he was something even more valuable, a man who could be bought. Sometime around 1901, Redl found himself vulnerable. He had expensive tastes, such as luxury hotels, tailored suits, fine food, and he needed money for that. Russian intelligence saw that as an opening. They studied him, followed him, and learned his habits. Then came the hook, an anonymous envelope, money, a request for small information. No risk, no danger. Rattle took the money. That one decision turned into one of the most damaging betrayal streaks in the European intelligence history. For over a decade, Redl sold secrets to Russia. Russian officers described him as their golden source. He gave them detailed plans of Austro-Hungarian mobilization, the entire layout of border defenses, name of secret agents, communication codes, and even wartime strategies. For this, the Russian paid him extremely well. It's estimated he earned the modern equivalent of hundreds of thousands of dollars. But every transaction required secrecy, and that secrecy would eventually create the perfect trap. By the early 1910s, European intelligence agencies had improved their surveillance techniques. One of the new methods was monitoring international mail for suspicious patterns. And then, one day, a letter caught their attention. It contained a large amount of money, no sender, no clear receiver, and a set of instructions. This was highly unusual. The Austro-Hungarian service suspected that either a spy was sending bribes or a spy was receiving them. So they began tracking similar envelopes and found that multiple letters with the same handwriting, same stamps, and the same method were arriving from Russia. And this was the first thread of the trap. The intelligence officers ordered hotel staff in Vienna to notify them if anyone came asking for a letter matching this description. They waited. Days passed until one night a man arrived. It was May 1913. Vienna was quiet. Late evening, shadows stretching across the hotel corridors. Two officers were watching the lobby from a distance. They saw him. A man in a long coat walked in confidently. He approached the reception desk and asked for the anonymous envelope. But something was familiar about him. When he turned slightly toward the light, the officers froze. It was Alfred Redl, their former chief of counterintelligence. A man they admired, a man they trusted, a man who trained many of them personally. They followed him upstairs. Redl went to his hotel room, which was room number 21. He sat down with a cup of coffee, placed the envelope beside him, and prepared to open it. But before he could, there was a knock on the door. The officers entered. For a moment, no one said anything. Redl slowly placed his coffee cup down. He looked at the envelope, then at the officers, and he understood immediately. He whispered, "I am lost." Everything that followed was quiet, almost unreal. The officers confronted him with the evidence. Redl didn't deny a single thing. He even confessed openly that he had been working for Russia for years. He had betrayed plans and codes. He had handed over war strategies. He even told them how Russians paid him through anonymous envelope that left at hotels. The coffee moment wasn't the plot itself. It was the trap that exposed that plot. And now came the Empire's problem. Redl knew too much, too many secrets, too many weaknesses of the Austro-Hungarian army. If word got out that Empire's intelligence chief was a traitor, the political fallout would be massive. So the officers gave him a choice: face public trial or quietly end his own life. Redl asked for a final night alone. He wrote letters, burned papers, cleaned his uniform, and early next morning, he took a revolver, sat on the bed, full military dress, and shot himself. The newspaper were told that it was a personal tragedy. Only later did the truth emerge. Historians still debate how much damage Redl caused, but we know this: Russia understood Austro-Hungarian military planning in astonishing detail. The Empire's mobilization plans, the one Redl sold, were outdated and predictable by 1914. During World War I early months, Austro-Hungarian forces suffered massive defeats. Many historians believe Redl betrayal accelerated those early losses, contributing to the empire's collapse during war. This is plausible, but not 100% provable. Still, the timing and scale of the betrayals strongly support the theory. Think about it: one man, one envelope, one trap in a hotel room, and the entire fate of a 600-year empire shifted. The greatest spy of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was also its greatest traitor. History often shows us massive battles, grand speeches, and powerful leaders. But sometimes, history changes in the quietest places: in a hotel room, with an envelope and a cup of coffee. The deadly coffee plot wasn't an explosion. It was a whisper that echoed across Europe right into the First World War.